traffic accidents in New Orleans has been one of the biggest fraud cases in the country, with millions of dollars paid in bogus insurance lawsuits.
More than 50 people were charged, but now with the case winding down, investigative reporter Mike Pearlstein has followed it from the beginning in our series Highway Robbery. And tonight he explores why the prosecution seems to have stalled.
When Roderick Hickman was sentenced to 3.5 years in federal prison last month, it marked one of the longest sentences yet in the case federal authorities call Operation Sideswipe. The sweeping probe exposed more than 100 accidents in which people packed into cars and intentionally collided with 18-wheelers. Tens of millions of dollars in fraudulent insurance claims were paid out. Some defendants actually confessed to getting unnecessary surgeries to increase their payday.
You look for someone getting an unnecessary surgery. That kind of boggles my mind.
Hickman admitted recruiting passengers and sometimes getting behind the wheel as a so-called slammer. He also confessed to steering cases to certain attorneys, some of whom are listed in code by prosecutors as attorneys A, B, C, and D.
But in the 60 years that me and my family have been handling this, we've never seen anything like this.
The scorecard for the feds in this case looks impressive at first glance. 52 people indicted, 44 guilty pleas, 24 defendants sentenced to prison. But a closer look at Hickman's sentence reveals an element of the absurd. He was ordered to pay trucking companies and their insurers more than $5.5 million in restitution at a rate of $250 a month. At that pace, his penalty won't be paid off for 22,000 years. Several other defendants, mostly poor, mostly minorities, have been hit with the same uncollectible amounts.
Well, at the base level of this story, this is a story about greed.
That greed is calculated to cost every car insurance customer in Louisiana more than $600 a year. And while Operation Sideswipe exposed a multi-million-dollar jackpot for attorneys who filed the now exposed lawsuits, only one attorney so far has been charged, Daniel Patrick Keating.
People got money from insurance companies, they staged some accidents, but what we're seeing now, we have low-level, poor people that are in prison.
Federal court documents clearly point to the attorneys who filed fraudulent claims. Many in the legal community are now wondering why the U.S. Attorney's Office stopped short of indicting all but one of them.
I think everyone's beside themselves.
52 defendants, and yet they still can't get even one level above them, let alone the higher people in the conspiracy. It's very head-scratching.
Even former U.S. Attorney Harry Rosenberg questioned how the case has unfolded.
Why are we just at the lowest level possible for most of these individuals? Why aren't we moving toward the top of the mountain rather than just scraping at the bottom of the mountain?
The current posture is a far cry from 3 years ago when then U.S. Attorney Peter Strasser stood shoulder to shoulder with the local FBI chief at the time, Brian Vorndran.
For the FBI, this is a warning to anybody who's out there that's involved in this scheme or any other schemes that we're looking and we're coming, and if you're involved in this or something similar, you may want to have some sleepless nights between now and a few months out.
With dozens of cooperating witnesses, what stymied this case? The U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment, but we exclusively obtained a piece of evidence that we are told played a significant role.
I can guarantee you all my life that I ain't never referring you to no fraud, putting you into no, it ain't no fraud, nothing I ever done.
That is a tape recording of Damien LeBeau, a key slammer and organizer, talking to accident attorneys he worked with. You can see LeBeau in this body cam video pretending to be a witness in an accident he later admitted he staged, driving a car into a truck, then jumping out.
The recording of someone saying, "Oh no, I didn't do it." Like, okay, is that the standard now to get out of jail? The accusations here are just despicable. I mean, there's no other way to say that. The behavior is more despicable for the attorneys than for the passengers.
LeBeau pleaded guilty and is now cooperating as he awaits sentencing. But insiders say a major blow to the case was when another LeBeau-level cooperating witness, Cornelius Garrison, was executed right after he was indicted. Strasser offered this assessment as he was leaving the U.S. Attorney's Office.
As you know, we were dealt a large setback by the targeted murder of one of our defendants.
Cornelius Garrison got killed on the day he was indicted, and maybe that was a deterrent to a number of people.
Legally, prosecutors still have a window to indict more people as the clock runs down. But as we've been hearing from early on, the attorneys who filed the fraudulent cases have themselves hired some of the top criminal defense attorneys in the state. And those lawyers, we're told, have aggressively played offense to keep their clients out of trouble.
When you have money, when you have power, when you can hire the best attorneys, you're gonna get a better shape. And maybe that's what we're seeing here.
Mike Perlstein, WWL, Louisiana.